Good evening and welcome to it. I am Sibs Matiela and I am the host of what you're watching right now, which is the Private Property Podcast, brought to you proudly by privateproperty.co.za. And all we do here at Private Property is try and connect you to the heart of property, which is why we have this podcast. Today we are talking about after sales and value adds. But before I get to that and our guest, Ben Malapile, I need to tell you that all roads lead to the property show.
This year, we're back in real life and virtual with content generated in our metaverse studio. We've designed the exhibition space to replicate the world's most popular property game and added in activities for the whole family, including an indoor park and play area. The game board is divided into 4 journeys, namely First-Time Homebuyers Boulevard, Investment Avenue, Sellers Street, and Renters Road. Visit thepropertyshow.co.za for more information and to get your tickets today. The Property Show 2022, 27th to the 28th of August at the Sandton Convention Center. No matter where you are on your property journey, we've gathered the experts.
That's right, folks. You heard the nice man in the little cartoon thing. All roads lead to the Property Show. It's happening on the 27th, 28th of August at the Sandton Convention Center right here in Johannesburg. If you would like to purchase a ticket, you can click on the link in the comments section and it'll take you to the doodad where you can put your card details in and you can buy a ticket, and we'll meet you there on the 27th and the 28th. Or you can join us virtually from anywhere in the world. I think those tickets cost 100 Rand, but if you click on the doodad, it'll tell you everything you need to know, and we will see you at the Sandton Convention Center. Back to today's episode, we are talking after sales and value adds, specifically why adding solar panels and an alarm system, which seems pretty obvious, would add value to your property. We're speaking to property investor Ben Malapile. Thank you so much for joining us, Ben. How are you?
Good, and yourself? Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm good, and I'm great. Thank you for asking. Listen, let's get straight to it. After sales and value adds to your property, without saying the obvious, what exactly are we talking about when we say, these value adds after you buy the thing, right? What's the impact of the value on the commercial and residential property?
So after sales value add, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. So basically, it's when you bought your property and then now that you own it, you add value to it after you own it. So, well, naturally you want your property to grow in value, but then there's certain things you have to do to it in order for it to grow and retain its value. So that's pretty much what after sales value add is.
It's like adding subwoofers maybe to your car, or like mags.
I know. because when you do that to your car, you actually decrease it in value. So yeah,
Okay,
I think
clearly I know nothing about cars, and but I'm learning about properties, so that's okay. Listen, without pointing out the obvious, why would it be a good thing to add an alarm system and solar to your residential or your commercial property?
All right, I'll start with alarm system. So yeah, we stay in South Africa. Ish. Crime is rife. So
Ben, I said
yeah,
without pointing out the obvious. That's the obvious one. Give us the not obvious one.
yeah, I'm getting to that. So obviously crime is rife and all of that. But then in as of late, security, one, and two, power, have become a very, very high currency in the country. Reason being that, I mean, it's gotten to a point where now people don't want to stay in standalone houses anymore. They want to stay in gated communities. So security has a commercial value now. So having an alarm system, beams, anything alarm orientated that helps protect your property, cameras and all of that, it definitely does help the buyer who comes and buy your property to see value in it, because security has value. So that will automatically increase your property value. And then on the other hand, yeah, Ishcom, yeah, load shedding, load reduction. They are even losing count of whatever names they have of all these things. The coal is wet and all of that. So now, especially because of COVID and working from home, a lot of people need 24/7 in their place of residence. So now 24/7 power or 24/7 water is as a currency. So any house that has backup inverters, generators, solar panels, anything that helps the property be off the grid, provides value in the property. Yeah, I mean, it's gotten to a point now where if Eskom was to say we're charging 1,000 rand per unit, people are gonna buy it because we're so desperate for energy, for power. So if you have power in your house, then you definitely have some value there.
Ben, I want to touch on two things that you've mentioned now. The solar bit we'll get to in a bit, but you spoke about how a lot of people are now more gravitating towards the security that comes as part and parcel of sort of living in a gated community or living in these sort of more luxury estates kind of situation. I suppose then one would ask, is there a necessity now in having some kind of alarm system and the beams when you've already now paid the price to ensure that you've got safety when you live in areas like that? What's the demand like there?
Well, I learned this the hard way that just because you're in a gated community or a security doesn't necessarily mean that you're guaranteed to not have any problems. Because let's say you're staying in I don't want to call any names, but you're staying in a very luxurious estate in the north
Cedar
of
Rivers.
Johannesburg.
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, you've already paid for your place to have all the security 24 hours and all of that, right? But then no, you don't have security against your neighbors. So one of your neighbors can have a kid who smokes drugs, and that kid sees your nice flashy TV and sees that you guys are going on holiday in December and decides to make that TV his own. So that's why people stay in a gated community and put more security in their houses so that they protect themselves against their neighbors too.
I suppose, I mean, you've got to mitigate any risk that might occur. And at the end of the day, protecting your belongings that you've worked so hard for is the most important thing. You touched as well on the solar element and how desperate we are for energy in our homes, especially with the energy insecurity that we're facing in the country. What are the cost implications now of going this route of the solar and the inverters and all of these value adds to the property? Obviously, it's not cheap. If it was, everyone would be doing it. We would all have solar power. We would all have wind farms in our backyards if we live in Port Elizabeth or Uitenhage. We'd be, going with those options. But there are some pretty hectic cost implications. What would you say those are?
Yeah, well, first things first, I heard that Eskom is trying to put a levy or a tax on people who are off grid. So because they can't supply you with power and you've made your own plan, they want to charge you a tax for not using them. So, well, it hasn't been finalized or put into any records yet, but then that's what Eskom wants to do. And then it goes without saying, I mean, a whole solar system is expensive. I once got a quotation to convert an entire house, and standard 3-bed 2-bath house with a garage. It costs around 150 to 200, depending on to 200,000 rands, depending on who.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, yeah, it costs as much as a car. But then, if you think about it, I guess you have to weigh your options, because on one hand, you're losing out all the hours at work, all the time, and then on the other hand, you could basically pay and then save all the time and all those things you're going through. Recently, I heard of a lady who lost her job because of load shedding. I laughed when I heard that. I was like, there's no way. Load shedding, you lose your job, how? She's like, no, she works for an IT company and it's an international company, and they work on their laptop throughout the day. So sometimes power doesn't go for only 2 hours, it goes for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And she's been telling her boss, electricity, power. They're like, I think you're not so serious, and they let her go. So if you instead would have spent that 150 to 200K for solar, for the solar or whatever backup system you're using, then she would still have that job. So the lady lost her job because of not having power and not being clocking in the hours she signed to. I mean, her employment contract says she's gonna work 8 hours every day, Monday to Friday. But then Monday, one of those days she's not at work because of power, or two of those days she's not at work because of power. So I mean, power is now an investment. I never thought I'd say something like that, but it is an investment because you gain back all that time you lose to waiting for electricity to come back.
So Ben, let's say I find the 1 million, 2 million monies to now buy a house. Then I find the 150 to 200K to put the solar in. Are you suggesting that if I invest in solar in this magical home that I'm building in my head, are you suggesting that I go off the grid completely? Or are you saying that we should find a middle ground where, you're not stranded when now the national energy crisis is crisising in our homes?
Well, the cheaper option is having semi off grid. So you've got the ESCOM power, and then you've got your private power. I guess that's the route that most people afford, and that's the route that most people are going. That's why they've got UPS systems in their home and inverters and all those things, right? But then the best one is obviously being completely off grid. So you don't have to rely on ESCOM and the coal, but you rely on yourself. So I think completely off grid is great if you afford it. If you don't, then go semi off grid. When there's no power, then you've got your generator or you've got your inverter that will help you out and carry you through the hours of darkness.
The last thing I'll ask you is that in your experience as a property investor, what would you say? We've spoken about the solar, we've spoken about the alarm systems. What are the other, value adds that would increase the value of one's property that you've seen are now in demand?
Okay, so well, value add will forever be value add. Now I'm talking about the traditional ones, not the ones which are specific to South Africa, like the power and the alarm systems. But then in every home, or in most homes, if you fix the kitchen and you fix the bathroom, you've done all the work, 90% of the work. Because I'm also a real estate agent, so when you're showing a place to a buyers and they're a couple, the lady will first go to the kitchen and then to the bathroom, then look at the entire house. If those two are not up to her par or are not up to her standard, then they'll leave and look for the next house. So if you make sure your kitchen looks great and your bathroom looks great, then you've added some value to your property.
So fix the bathroom and fix the kitchen.
Yes, bathrooms and kitchens. Make sure.
And then you're well on your way. Got it.
Yeah,
Ben
you're
Malapile.
80% there.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was Ben Malapile, who is a property investor and a real estate agent. If people want to find you, where do they find you? Are you coming to the property show?
Yes, I'll be there at the property show on the 27th and the 28th of August. If they're not in Joburg or not gonna be around, then you can just find me on YouTube, Ben Malapile. I've got some YouTube videos with regards to property investing, or on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Ben Malapile, and you'll find me.
Thank you so much, Ben, for joining us, and we look forward to speaking to you again in the future about how to add more value to the properties we are still trying to earn the money to buy. Like I said before, folks, all roads lead to the property show. Ben will be there if you'd like to talk to him. That is happening once again on the 27th and the 28th of August, 2022 at the Sandton Convention Center. You will be able to join us digitally from anywhere in the world if you cannot make it in person. Right now, though, I do have $500 to give away and a ticket to the property show. So if you have been interacting with us in the comments section after every episode or during every episode of the Private Property Podcast, then today could be your very, very lucky day to win. Who's a winner for today? It's Kenneth Mochela. Was a long wait for you, Kenneth, but there you go. $500 on its way to you and a ticket to the property show. We will see you on the 27th and the 28th of August at the Sandton Convention Center. Thank you for joining me on the Private Property Podcast for today. My name is Sibs Matiela. I will see you on the next episode tomorrow.
This year, we're back in real life and virtual with content generated in our metaverse studio. We've designed the exhibition space to replicate the world's most popular property game and added in activities for the whole family, including an indoor park and play area. The game board is divided into 4 journeys, namely First-Time Homebuyers Boulevard, Investment Avenue, Sellers Street, and Renters Road. Visit thepropertyshow.co.za for more information and to get your tickets today. The Property Show 2022, 27th to the 28th of August at the Sandton Convention Center. No matter where you are on your property journey, we've gathered the experts.